Welcome to the Fresh and Fired Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Emily Marshall, here to help you function at your best in health, fitness, and life. Joined by my co-host, the wild, wonderful Haley Pindle. Let's get fired up.
Let's get fired up. We got a returning guest today, Bianca. Welcome.
Hi.
Do you guys remember what episode number she was on before? I actually meant to look it up ahead so we could refer you guys back to her first part 1 episode. I feel like you should look it up,
yeah,
Haley.
Keep talking.
Because
I'll really quickly, but you have to distract the listeners.
You know that talking is what I do best. Maybe.
Exactly.
Well, there's other things too, though. Let's be honest. So here's the deal. We gave you a much better intro. I'm just realizing, Bianca, we gave you a much better intro in part 1. I had it like the full description, but this time you guys are getting a semi-intro because we want you to go back and listen to part 1 with Bianca. It's really good. And in order to do that, you should check us out on all the different platforms, including YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, and Apple Podcasts and Spotify. That sounds like a great idea, right?
I found the episode, but I don't see a number here.
Oh, you have to scroll to the bottom. I'm not sure what platform you're on, but if you click on it and you scroll to the bottom, oh man, Haley, I can find it faster than you, I think.
I know.
I thought you were the young one.
Episode? What was our last episode?
When was our last episode?
No, what number was it?
Oh, it was like 175, I believe.
75. 74,
yeah.
3, 2.
She says, "Gonna count back." Oh, this is old school. I love it. Oh. But
what'd you say?
Just say the title. Just say the title of it.
It's From Pain to Power, the Mental Game of Injury Recovery with Bianca Santucci.
Ooh, yes, because we were talking about recovery with that one. Mm-hmm. And then you can also find, if you're on YouTube, you can see us, and then you can find, because we have Bianca on the thumbnail. But we should give a quick backstory intro for this episode, just so everyone revisits and remembers who you are. So tell us like a little bit about yourself.
So I've been an elite athlete my whole life. Started off with soccer, and then shortly after that fell in love with lacrosse, which became my sports. I had a Division I lacrosse fellowship at LIU, and attended there for 5 years, getting my bachelor's in sports science and starting my master's in exercise physiology. And then, I played for the Italian national team in 2018, and did a little bit of like a European championship with them in Israel. Still kind of in and out of the process. I think I'm actually gonna be hitting up retirement soon and just solely focusing on coaching. And then, I've just been coaching lacrosse ever since then, just helping out the youth. Started my own business last October in personal training, which is my full-time job. Been doing that for over 3 years now. There's not much else to me, but in the process of hopefully releasing a book in 2026, kind of outlining the pains and struggles that I went through in my collegiate career. But other than that, just sports has been my whole life, and now kind of just putting that into my career.
Heck yeah. And you guys are starting a podcast. Outline a little bit more about that. Promote yourself.
Yeah. So my friend, a good friend of mine, Jenna, and I we've been talking about putting out a podcast for months, actually. And we kind of were just like so busy that we're like, whatever. And then we were kind of just like, okay, like I think enough's enough. Like we should do this because we both like to, share our passions. We both like to yap here and there. And then, we're also fun and funny. So we do work together too. So we just love kind of sharing similar passions. So it's going to be called Her Game, Her Rules. And it's basically going to just be talking about, it's just going to be a safe environment for women, female athletes, talking about, their pains, their struggles, a little bit of mental health, fitness, things like that. Everything that women should talk about but don't talk about. It's just going to be an uplifting, basically, platform for people to come in and listen to and maybe relate to and find some ease with it. So, we're just building all that out now. So, we'll see.
Great. I love the name.
Yeah, thank you. I know it's gonna be fun. We both come from like athletic backgrounds, so I think we can both relate to injuries and things like that, and the mental state, physical state of high demands of our sport. So yeah, it'll be good.
Absolutely. It'll be another adventure for you guys, which is awesome.
I
I
know.
feel like too, like athletes just end up being like entrepreneurial too, which is
Yeah.
just kind of in our blood.
Yeah, for sure. It's just like, yeah, what can I do next? Like what new project can I take on? So
Yeah,
yeah.
I imagine that. How do you mentally manage that too? I've imagined that you can hit some sort of burnout, but if you're kind of getting towards that point of you have so much going on, lacrosse, business, all of this, like how are you managing all of
Yeah,
it?
it's yeah. I mean, I feel like I've been hitting that a lot the last couple weeks, just because it's like you're so close to the holidays, but you still
Mhm.
you still have to work, kind of thing. Yeah, it's hard. Like for me, like I'm the type of person I always feel guilty when I take some time to rest or like maybe take a day off. I'm so used to being like go go go. Um, it's definitely harder to manage when you're doing like four different jobs and then adding in small little things on the side. But just try to prioritize rest and like also like taking days off. Like even now, like I try to work on the weekends here and there, but it's just like, okay, Bianca, like if you need to take a day off or you can feel yourself starting to feel burnt out, try not to feel guilty for taking rest. Cause I always say like, how are you gonna be useful if your batteries, working at 25%, you're trying to be the best at everything that you're doing and do good at your job. Like it's not a functional way to work. And I don't feel like I'm doing my best work when I'm working at like a low capacity. So
Yeah,
try to
absolutely.
put in rest every so often.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are some of the specific mental tools that you use for that?
Like I probably should, like I think going into the new year, I'm definitely gonna try to do a little bit better at that. Like for me, I'm always trying to stay on top of my schedule. So like I always carry like a planner and a calendar with me so that I'm like mapping out my days, especially with work, like having both calendars up. But then also like having time in between my day where I just kind of come home, decompress a little bit, and then go out and do what I need to do. Journaling has always been a really interesting thing for me. Like I've always kind of turned to that. And then depending on the day, maybe it's like plugging in a podcast on, how I can better my habits or maybe help myself during like my burnout phase, right? So I always kind of look to like improve my tools, but definitely going into 2026, I'm going to try and make sure my calendar and everything is set so that I'm like not burning myself out, because it's hard. Like when you're trying to start a business and you're trying to put yourself out there, you really don't get a break, right? So
Yeah.
it's like,
And I think it's too, there's a level of sacrifice that you have to be okay with. And sometimes the price is just burning out a little bit, right?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, in terms of like how you know how to navigate that, how do you decipher like if you're just grinding solely for like, I'm just ex athlete and I'm just kind of going off of like chaos because I love chaos? Or how do you know that you're in that growth state and like, okay, I'm working towards something, the sacrifice is going to be worth it and I'm going to grow from it? How do you decipher grinding from growing essentially?
Yeah, for sure. I think like being an athlete, I mean, you're always grinding. Like you're always trying to perfect your craft. You're always putting in extra reps or getting in extra practice because you want to do good at what you're doing. Um, I never not grind. Like I feel like there's things in my life that I want to accomplish. I'm still fresh into a business. I want to put out a book. I want to, start a podcast. And it's like none of those things are going to happen if I'm sitting on my ass and just hoping they're going to happen. Like there has to be some sort of action for it to happen. So it's just like I know like there's days where I'm tired and there's days where it's like, oh, like I could use this hour to just like sleep or something. But it's like there's things that I need to put into motion in order for everything to start falling into place. So it's like, okay, like, yeah, like I'm working really hard, but I know I have a break coming up for Christmas. So it's like, okay, like take advantage of your time off, your time with your family, recharge your battery, and then go and crush the next couple months of the new year, right? Like I recently went on a trip and I found like they came at the perfect time because I came back and I felt like my battery was recharged. Like I just felt so much more relaxed, right? But I'm pretty good at like reading my body and my energy and knowing when I need to take a break. Like if it's like I'm grinding all week and then I take a break on the weekend and then I'm back to grinding, like that's fine. It's a matter of like knowing myself and like what I need to do and when I need to take a break because I'm not useful when I'm exhausted.
Yeah, Absolutely. And I'm assuming like your stress tolerance has also built up over the years too, after just being in the grind and then releasing. But at any point, did you ever feel like just like giving up? It's like, okay, I'm just like so done. Did you ever get to that point? And like what stopped you from not like quitting?
Oh God, yeah. When I laugh because like I'm like, wow, if my business coach listens to this, he's probably gonna be like, yeah, I've been on the call with her trying to talk her off a ledge multiple times. Yeah, like especially when I first started my business, there was a lot of different changes going on in my life, dealing with a lot of different emotions. You know, I wasn't at the best part of my life, but I was also like, okay, like I want things to change and I want things to change for the better. Um, and yeah, I've been wanting to quit. There's moments where I'm like, fuck, like why am I even doing this? Like what's the point? I'm always tired. Like everyone else is hitting these big milestones in their business and I'm just here, little old me, and I'm just like what's the point? Like why am I doing this to myself? Like why, right? And then I like snap out of it. I'm like, you know, like everyone wants, it's that saying of like everyone quits when it gets, you know, it's hard, but it's about to change after that. And it's like, it gets hard and then it gets easy at a certain point. It's like everyone's businesses go through different phases. Some of my friends have been in it for 5 years. Like, unfortunately, it's a game of time. And it's just like, you know, I can't give up because there's so much that I've given up. There's so much that I've sacrificed. There's so many things that I've taken risks on and invested in because I knew I could do it and I had faith that I could do it. So it's like, why would I give up on myself now? Right. It's like at the end of my like when I graduated, I was like, all I want to do is change the world. Like whether it's a small portion or whatever, I want to make a difference. And I know what I do makes a difference. And I hear about it all the time. But I think for me, being the person that's actually doing it, I haven't seen like the big like milestone for me yet, but it's like in between there's all these little things happening and moving parts. So I'm like, I know I'm making an impact. It's just it's gonna take time, right? And it's hard when you're working 4 different jobs and trying to, you know, start a business and do all these things. Your energy is going in total different directions, right? So I don't know. It's hard. I've definitely wanted to give up, but I'm still here. So
You're still here.
doing my thing.
Hey, woohoo. Have you ever heard of setting a rejuvenation cycle? I just shared this with some of my business clients this past week. Yeah, and it's pretty cool. So something that both my husband and I have learned in our years of business ownership.
Okay.
You start to see trends, okay? And so the cool part is you can actually look back through your years. And I mean, different industries are going to be different time frames for this, but you can look at like when are your busiest months? When are your, you know, like even March. For us, March is perpetually a really busy month in our clinic. And we'll have also, it's often a 5-week month, which makes a difference too, compared to some of the shorter months. And we will be able to see like our perpetual busiest months, and you can see the dips and you can see it trend over years of time. So it's really cool because if you're dividing your year up into quarters and you're like, okay, we need to do something rejuvenating each quarter. That doesn't mean you need to take a 2-week vacation each quarter necessarily, but even if it's just a long weekend of like 3-4 days, but it's something that's genuinely rejuvenating for you, what you can do is you can time those based on your trends when you're already having like slower dips so that you also mitigate some of that anxiety of taking time off because you're like, well, you know what? It's not as hopping right now anyways. And if you know that either before that or after that, those are when it's like really busy, you can do the like major pushes and then you can scale back a bit, take that rejuvenation, come back stronger, continue with your next cycle essentially. And so it might not be perfectly spaced throughout your year, but you can go with those trends in your business. And I just found it's been really helpful for everything, all aspects of health. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's definitely helpful. I know I'm always like, I feel so guilty when I take time off or like go on a trip or like go on a lacrosse coaching adventure, right? It's just like, when you're contracted and you're an employee in this business, it's very different. So it's like, you know, I do have to time it. And that's why I'm working hard now. Cause I'm like, well, I know there's things coming up in the new year that I'm going to have to take time off for. So I'm like, I need to save this money. I need to put this time here. And it's just a never ending cycle.
Yeah. It's being strategic though, right? I think can make a really big difference in the long-term game.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, thanks for sharing that though, because I feel like there's you can get a lot of external pressures too that start happening. Like there's your own internal voice, like you said, where it's like, okay, I feel guilty when I take time off. But then so even if you get better at dealing with your internal pressure, how do you handle the external pressure? Like you would have had this as an athlete, like when you were more in the thick of your athlete days, where it was like you've got coaches, you've got social media, you've got your teammates, whatever it is. How does that affect your healing? Like if you're coming off post injury and you're trying to recover, give us some insight into that.
Yeah, you're hitting me with all the good ones. Yeah, I mean, I've I've dealt with pressure my whole life, right? Like whether, I dealt with it from my family, I've dealt with it from my coaches, I've dealt with it from my, peers and bosses and such. And, when people see potential in you, it comes from a good place, but like when people see potential in you, they'll push you, right? And they'll put pressure on you. And sometimes like when I was younger, I never saw that. It was kind of just like, oh my God, like, why are they so hard on me? And then it led to me being like, anxiety, like high driven anxiety, like I ended up being super depressed, and like that feeling of never feeling good enough was always there. And now looking back and like being a lot older than I was then, it's like it never really came from a bad place. It was because, and even as a coach now, it's like you see potential in your athletes, you see potential in these people, so you're going to push them a little harder, right? But then you're like, when's that line of like pushing them too much? And yeah, I mean, you're gonna get pressure everywhere you go, right? And for me, like, I just have to keep reminding myself to like focus solely on me and my path and my journey and what I'm doing, because the more I sidetrack out of that and start going down the rabbit hole of this like comparison thing that everyone likes to do, I find it just takes away like my energy from my business, from my career. Like it's hard, especially when you're surrounded by a lot of successful people hitting milestones that are over $20,000 a month. Like you start to think of, well, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not getting that right? And then you just start to get into the cycle, and it's very vicious, right? So I'm just like, I try to be very mindful of what I'm doing in regards to like, okay, like celebrate the people around you, but also applaud yourself for what you're doing and being like, okay, like this is great. Like I know what this could be attainable. So now I'm like, okay, put your head down, keep focusing on you, stay focused, and your time will come, right? Because like I said, the more you start sidetracking to everyone else, you start losing the complete cycle of like what's happening for yourself, right? Like it takes away from your energy completely. So
yeah,
you just
plus like yeah, for your own business, I feel like just like being a copy and paste of everyone else and like having all of that outside noise isn't super duper helpful. Whereas if you focus on yourself and find your own voice and your own unique like blue ocean and essentially the market, way better long term. But of course, it's definitely hard to
it's
not
like
be.
I find like in the fitness industry, like I don't know about like the chiropractic side and like massage side, with like Emily, but like I noticed in fitness, I don't know if you see this too, Haley, but it's like they always talk about how saturated the fitness industry is. And it's like, yeah, like it's saturated in a way, but it's like I try to be very authentic, and I have to keep reminding myself of this too. It's like what I help people, like I've helped a lot of people, and what I help people with is truly valuable. I'm like, maybe I'm not doing a massive 50-pound transformation, but I help people recover from chronic pain, and like I know what it's like to be in pain and recover and be able to do the things that I love again. And you can't put a value or a price tag on that, right? So it's like, yeah, it's saturated in a way, but you have like the influencers, and then you have like people who are just genuinely grinding, real people. Like I don't really care about what I look like when I post shit. Like it's very raw, it's very authentic, and maybe it's getting 1,000 views compared to 10,000 views, but I know it's coming from like a really authentic place, right? And it's not like about the aesthetics or this and that, right? Like I'm just out here trying to help people, right? So I don't know, saturated in a way, but everyone has something different to offer. Like I'm going to be different from someone else. My personality is going to be different from someone else. So
Absolutely. And I think like clients too, like can read your energy. I definitely have come to terms and like, wow, people just sign on because they like you as a person. And
Yeah.
it's funny too that you say it's like so saturated. It definitely is, but you finding your niche is so important too. Cause like I never in a million years would have thought I'd be talking about blood on like uteruses on the internet.
Vampire Haley blood.
Getting your period back on the that's under the fitness realm. So it's like
Yep.
creating your own sort of niche based on your passion for it because you have
Yeah.
that lived experience is what
Yeah.
makes you different, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I mean, I was talking about this in my business group the other day. Like, I feel like I'm struggling to really niche down because I'm teeter-tottering, because I'm like, do I need to be someone who's about like aesthetics, like losing weight, or like, can I stick to my guns and do chronic pain? Because I'm like, oh, is the market big enough for chronic pain? But I'm like, well, 75% of the population deals with chronic pain in some form, right? So it's like, yeah, like maybe you're not seeing it as much as in the fitness industry, but like if you keep putting out that message and hitting the right people, like it will slowly start to come in, right? It's like, why are you trying to be, trying to go away from what you know, like focus on what you do know, right? Because it's been most of my life. So I'm like, I don't know why I think I need to do anything crazy special. It's just sticking to your guns and sticking to what you know, right? It's like, I teeter-tottered all year and I'm like, okay, enough's enough. Like, let's just stick to the one. Right. And if people come in here and there that need help with certain other things, like I'll do it happily. Right. But it's like you got on once content comes, you're like, you got to stick to your guns.
Yeah. I feel like a good distinction too, Bianca, because you said like when you're kind of going down the train of thought of self-focus, I think that's good when you are doing it like in the context of your lens of your business and not getting into the comparison game. But then on the flip side of that, it's very helpful. And I think that both Haley, you and Bianca both do this. So I'm just pointing it out so that our listeners can kind of gain that perspective on both of you too, is that you have that others focus when it comes to your clientele, right? You're not like so self-absorbed that it would be, this is just about my business and I need to make money and I need to grow my platform. It's like people also know, and it's like, no, you genuinely want to help your clients. You genuinely see the needs that they have and you're trying to find them the best solutions and you're doing it in a way that is compassionate, right? As you do your job. So I feel like that would be a scenario where we do want to be externally focused because what you said, Haley, your clients can feel your energy. Is the same thing. This applies also to our chiropractic clinic where it's like, we're caring for one person. Sure, we might see a large volume of patients in a day or in a week, but that's only the case because we have so many internal referrals because each and every patient, we do our absolute best to see them for who they are, for the reasons why they came in and not why we want them to be there, right? Yeah. And then really serving them one person at a time so that they know and feel like the most important person in the room when you're with them, right? And I feel like something that can be I would say, in my opinion, easier when you're in person is when you are physically in that room with the person. You are like giving them their full attention, right? Your full attention. Sometimes I think with some of the online stuff, it's an even bigger hurdle to really cultivate that in-person experience because when you're not in the same room, you're maybe not feeling as much of the energy there. So you have to find it, you almost have to go above and beyond in order to cultivate that. What do you guys think about that? Do you find that with some of the online stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a lot harder. Like it's definitely like sometimes it's like if someone's worked with you for a long time and then they transition, it's a little bit easier because they know who you are, they know how you work, what your vibe is. I think a stranger completely new that doesn't know me is probably like, okay, they've seen my vibe on Instagram, but they don't know me personally, right? So it's like some people are probably scared to reach out, and I'm just like, no, like don't be scared. Like I want you to reach out, right? Like whatever questions you have. And I'm always like, I'm not trying to sell people. Like I hate that, and I'm just like, I genuinely just want to help. Yeah. So I'm like, if you find me and you follow me, I'm like, awesome. Like, how did you find me? Like, what brought you to my like community? Like, are you new to fitness? Are you in pain? Like, I just want to know, right? And the online is just it's a different breed. But people buy people; they don't buy services, right? Like, at the end of the day, I want people to come to my page and feel like they know me or can trust me or feel at ease when they're listening to me, right? Like it's just a safe place for people to come to. But yeah, I mean, Haley, I'm not sure what it's like for you, but the online's definitely a little bit harder, a little bit of a different beast.
Yeah, it's progressively gotten easier. I'm so thankful to say that. But at the
Yeah.
start, because I never did in person, I've always been
Right.
online. So
Yeah.
getting people to trust you from the internet was a huge challenge. And at
Yeah.
the start, it was like, I definitely felt that, Bianca, where it was like a little bit sleazy. I'm like, I'm asking you a question because I genuinely care. And like, there's so many scammers on the internet too that are sliding in people's DMs. And I'm like, I promise you, I'm a real person and I'm not trying to get money out of you. I'm just like trying to get my name out there, connect with people. But it's definitely harder. And it has gotten easier as you develop your own personality and like your quote unquote personal brand on the internet. Whereas
sure.
like now it's a lot easier to get in like inbounds, referrals. Like I've got clients in Thailand, in like the
Awesome.
UK, in Europe. So it's like easier to get people to trust you when you have that authoritative figure kind of built up. But it's definitely a time game where that
Yeah.
happens over time. But at the
Yeah.
start, so much resistance. I was definitely in the crapper.
It takes time. 'Cause, yeah, I'm always like, people, have conversations over DMs and stuff, and we send things out, right? And I'm just like, like where are people finding these people? Like, like how are these conversations happening organically? Like how is this happening? Because I don't have like a virtual assistant or a setter or things like that. I'm just like, I'm out here just trying to make conversation. Like I genuinely just want to get to know you. Like I don't want your money. Like you want to work with me, great.
Exactly.
It's a different beast for sure, but it takes time.
Well, and I think as you're saying this, I feel like this conversation has gone a little bit in the direction of recovery, but then also, the business side of things, which every aspect of your life affects another. So I think whether it's a setback from an injury or a setback in your career or business, what is some advice that you would give to others who are going through similar setbacks?
All the good ones today. Yeah, I mean, there's so much that I've learned about myself this year, and sometimes I'm just like, wow, you got yourself through it, and you did it, and it may not have been pretty, but you did it. And I think there's, I think you just have to take on life with like an open mind, because in a perfect world, like maybe you don't get setbacks, but we're not living in a perfect world. Like you're gonna have setbacks in your career, you're gonna have setbacks in your life, you're gonna have setbacks in your athletic career. Like they come up, but the way that I look at them is like, shit's gonna happen in your life and it's gonna be thrown at you and you're gonna have to adapt. And like, whether it's whatever, bad, good, unreasonable, it's just you have to learn how to deal with it. And those things that come up in your life, they make you stronger. Like if I didn't go through half the things I went through, I never would have been the person I am now. Like I used to be a shy, timid, sheltered little human that was scared of the world and can barely make eye contact with people. And now I'm on podcasts. I have a business. I'm starting my own podcast. I'm writing a book. Like these are things I never would have done when I was little. But I had to go through some really, really hard shit in my college career and my early adult life to figure out like, this is what you're made of. This is what you can handle. This is what you can do. And this is what's happening now. You know how to move forward and get through it. Like, trust me, like life is not all sunshine and rainbows, especially when it comes to starting your own business. Like I've had days where I've called my business coach in tears, in pure frustration. Like I can't do this. Like what the hell am I doing here? And, when people see the best in you and your potential, it makes you kind of pull yourself out for a second and be like, I can do this. And like starting business, I knew it was going to be bumpy and I knew it was going to be hard. But I think you just have to be a different level of strong when you're dealing with shit like that. Like you can't be delusional. Like things are going to come up in your life. And the older I get, the harder things get. And I don't know, you just have to put your head down and learn how to deal with them. You know, like feel your feelings when you need to. Like the biggest piece of advice I can give you is don't compress things and don't let them fester, because the more you do that, the more you internalize, the more depressed you get, anxious you get, stressed out you get. Like I've had to learn how to talk about things, and I've had to learn how to like work through things. And that's not something I never used to do that. I internalized things till I was about 17 years old. And then I learned out that I was clinically diagnosed with depression and anxiety. And that's what happens when you don't deal with your shit. So I would just say, yeah. I think, like I talked about last time, the biggest thing I'll always say is like, honestly, I'd rather have people fail and be okay with the idea of failing than not, because it's like, how are you supposed to be successful if you don't go through all these trials and errors, right? Like that's just something I try to hold myself to, and my athletes. Like I used to be really scared of failing, and now I'm like, well, I'd rather go in 100%, do the best I can, and if I fail, learn what came out of it, and then try it again a different way, right? So I don't know if that answers your question, but
no, it was good. I feel like it was some of the things I was hearing was like openness, perseverance, also expecting that there will be setbacks so you can mentally prepare for them. And then I do think you touched on the vulnerability piece. You were very open and vulnerable about some of the points of your own journey and your own mental health. So I think those are all really good points. I was curious, Haley, what are some of the things you would add to that? Like, what are some conversations and advice you would say for people going through setbacks?
Oh my gosh. This is such a hard question too, I know. On top of all of the things that Bianca said, I think there is definitely an element of just blind faith in it and being a little bit delusional in where you're supposed to be going, because essentially like fear and faith both require you to believe in something that has not happened yet. Right. So you get to choose whether that's going to be fear-based or whether that's going to be like, I'm going to bet on myself. And regardless, like it's so scary to hop into the unknown and the world of the unknown, not expecting that you are going to get the outcome that you want. However, I tell this to all of my clients, like you have to be in that mindset of like, there's no plan B. Like I don't have one leg in and one leg out. It's all in for me. And of course, like I'm going to make an educated decision if, you know, shit hits the fan and I do need to take a step back, or I do need to close something down or change courses. But it's just going to be a change course. We're not going backwards. Like we're not going to go back to starting point. We're just going to continuously move forward. And you and I touched on this last episode, I believe, of that expectation and that reality gap, bringing your expectations down. What?
That's next episode.
Oh,
it comes out after this one.
Oh, well, stay tuned for that episode where we talk about the expectation versus reality gap and how you can kind of slowly close that gap so you aren't getting super disappointed, anxious, depressed. That's where all of those emotions are lying, is when you expect something to happen that never does happen, or that reality doesn't match. But yeah, stay tuned for that episode. But that's what I would
know. I threw Haley under the bus because we recorded actually next week's episode. We recorded before this episode because guys, it's Christmas and New Year's, so we had to bank some episodes.
Yeah,
but we have them all set for you, and you're gonna love the next one.
That's what we're gonna do too. I think we're filming on Sunday, so who knows? Maybe I have a podcast coming out next week, guys.
That's awesome.
I hope you do.
Yeah, right. Stay tuned for that. No, that was a really good answer though. Like for both of you. And Haley, I like what you said about the fear versus faith and how they both haven't occurred yet. Like they're both things. That's a really cool thing to keep as a frame of reference. So thank you for bringing that up. And I was also thinking that a lot of people do this where they're searching for certainty, and faith and certainty are not the same thing, but often get conflated and mixed up together. So I think when you're searching for like a certainty where you're like, I must know that this outcome will occur before I take action, is what keeps people stagnant or stuck where they are, because there's no guarantees. You do essentially have to take a step of faith to move forward rather than wait till everything is certainly perfect. Cause I think that comes back to the control piece, which
That's the thing. Like, no, and I even talk about this now. Like, no one has a crystal ball. Like, I genuinely wish I had a crystal ball, because then it'd be great. I would have known what was going to happen last year, or what was good, or what was coming. But unfortunately, you don't. And I think, like, in order to experience life and fully put yourself out there, like, I've had to learn how to be very, very vulnerable, and like knowing, like, okay, like, this is the outcome that could happen, but this could also happen, and like, you have to be okay with both. And like, unfortunately, we cannot read time, we cannot see what's coming, but like, you need to be present in your life, and you need to be open to experiencing things, or you're just going to be living at the same spot, same level. And if you want to level up, like, you have to take a step out of your side of your comfort zone. So
Yeah, absolutely.
everyone's got to do it at some point, right? If you want to reach that
Exactly.
next level.
And everything's rented, right? Like everything in life is never going to be permanent, even us. So I think that's also a little bit of a level of freedom too, to just kind
Yeah.
of go after what you want. Because essentially everyone is going to pass away. No one's going to remember us in 200 years. I don't think anyone here can recite their great 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 grandmother's name. So
Yeah.
That's actually, yeah. My kids just brought this up to me the other day. They're like, do you know who our great, 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 they said great like 1,000 times, by the way, too. Great, 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 great grandparents were. I was like, oh dear, no. But I was like, my sister-in-law did that ancestry tree
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Yep.
Those are kind of cool. Like, I mean, I don't know that they track all the names, but even just like your family lineage. Anyways, fascinating. That's just a rabbit trail. But it's so true. Yeah, it really is. I think it's like usually 3 generations.
Yeah,
Like,
I know my like great, I could do probably great 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 if I asked around.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's nothing. Yeah, it's all in the unknown now, which again, I think helps a lot with like the business side of things too. Just kind of knowing that, like, okay, well, this is something that is a fire that's burning under my ass. And so if I don't do it, I would regret it so much more than going through all of the negative emotions. Because essentially, I'm so bad at reminding myself of this, but like, this is just a human experience. And like, life is just about living your best human experience. And it comes with negative, it comes with positive. If you don't have that really low, then you can't really feel the extent of that gratitude when you do get what you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's this like trend going on Instagram right now, and it's like, I'd rather my life be full of like, I can't believe I did that, or I can't believe I did these things, instead of like, I wish I did these things. And I think that's very accurate. Like, you have to fill your life with like the, I can't believe I did that, instead of like, oh man, I wish I did that. And like, that's how I'm trying to like live my life now, right? Because there's things happening in the world that aren't fair, and you know, life is really, really short. So it's like, you know, I'd rather live it, and instead of being stressed out 24/7.
Yeah, exactly. On that note, how did you deal with like being misunderstood, like maybe by your family or peers, like depending on like whatever avenue, lacrosse wise, business wise,
Yeah, like misunderstood, just like could be like mental
with your
health.
choices? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, my choices, Haley. How we could be here all day. Love my
why would
family.
you do that? No.
If you're listening, love you guys, love you dad, love you mom. Yes. Well, there's yeah, I think like career wise, I think I get the question of you know, my family's very old school, we're Italian, so you know. Yeah, I get the question of like, are you doing this job forever? Like, is this your forever job? Like, you know, is this sustainable kind of thing? You know, that's like really difficult for me, especially when I'm working my ass off to like really, really build something that's like literally bigger than myself. I think that's been a really hard one for me. I think moving away from home, when I moved to Calgary was a really, really tough one for me. You know, like everyone wants me to come home, but then they also want me to be happy. So it's like, well, which one is it? And then probably the mental health journey. You know, when I was first diagnosed with depression and anxiety, I think breaking that news was really, really hard. I don't know how much detail I want to get into here, but yeah, I think, you know, for a really long time, I was ashamed. So I remember when I told my mom, and that phone call was just like straight tears for about an hour. And I think there was a lot of guilt and a lot of like, oh my God, this is my fault. Like, what did I do to my kid? There was a moment in time where I had a lot of anger too about it, and having worked through it, I was, there's moments I didn't talk to my dad for a little bit of time during college because I just didn't know how to talk to him about it, and felt like, not everyone understood what I was feeling, because I was taught, and it's not a bad thing, but I was taught to like put your head down, like it, don't worry about it, you're stronger than you think, just move on, get through it, or it's all in your head kind of thing. you know and it's not like that anymore. Like things have changed. Mental health is more of a conversation now. But yeah, I feel like from a family perspective, I've always kind of sometimes your family wants the best for you. When you make decisions that they don't necessarily agree with, it's hard for them to understand why. But like I kind of said when I moved here, I was like, at the end of the day, like I'm an adult. I'm going to make decisions that not everyone agrees with. But at the end of the day, whatever the consequences are, whatever the result of those decisions are, like I'm the one that's going to have to deal with it, not you. Like I made that decision. That responsibility is on me. And I did learn the hard way. I moved here, and a lot had happened, and things didn't work out the way that I had planned or structured or envisioned for myself. And it sucked at the time, and I had to deal with it, and I was absolutely heartbroken and devastated, but I found my way through it. And Calgary's become a home to me, and I've met a lot of amazing people. I've started new beginnings. I started a really awesome career. Like, I don't know. I mean, not everyone's going to agree with my decisions, and sometimes that doubt really gets to me, but at the same time, I have to stay true to myself and remember why I'm doing things. And it's always going to come back to doing something bigger than myself. So I love everyone in my life. I love my family, and not everyone's going to ever understand, but I do what I do because I not only want to make myself proud, but I want to make my family proud, right? Like, I don't want to sit there when I'm 50, 60 years old saying, I wish I did this, I wish I did that. Like, I'm really, really trying to fill my life. When I look back, I'm like, I can't believe I did that. Or like, hey, like your mom started a business when she was 25. Like, like I want my kids to look up to me. I want to be I'm a mentor to a lot of athletes and a lot of kids in my life. Like, I just want to be a really good role model for people. And through all my experiences, hopefully shed some light around those as well. So, yeah.
That's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah. Have you ever listened to or heard any of Jordan Peterson's work?
No.
Jordan Peterson. Yeah, it just made me think of it as you were speaking. He has some, I think within certain books, but then he has a lot of talks. Like he has tons on YouTube and all of that. But the call to adventure, he talks about it. And because when we were touching on the piece of like, even like what life's all about and that sort of thing, he talks a lot about like how we were created, like God created us with this sense of adventure. Mm-hmm. And even if you look back through like the traditions and history and even like, faith, it's like there's this call to adventure within the stories. He actually goes through a lot of biblical stories too. But how there's always this like leaving and heading out on adventure. And even what you're saying, right? When you're moving to a different place, you're trying a different career. And we all have that in us to a certain extent where we're like, we need to go and try. And whatever that looks like, it might be traveling, it might be fully moving to a new place, but it's like getting away from what you currently know and going out into the unknown that kind of fulfills that desire within all of us, which you said the human experience, Haley, to respond to that call to adventure. And I really I'm not explaining it as well as him because he's like a very refined speaker, and like PhD and all these things anyways, but it's pretty cool. It made me think of it when you were saying, so might want to look that up.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, no, it's great.
He has a bunch of books too.
Yeah, I just feel like, when you move away or something like that, everyone's first, it's like, why do you hate me? Like, why? And I'm like, no. I feel like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like when you're growing and you're doing things and like, it's not that I outgrew home. There was just like, I wanted more and I wanted a change. And I just, like, I couldn't explain it. I needed to spread my wings a little bit. And I felt like sometimes I just needed to be in a different environment to really grow, because I felt like I was in a certain place. It was the same thing every day. There was a certain expectation of me. I need to do a certain job. And I just couldn't do it. I was like, I need to be my own person. I got to figure this out. And I don't know what that looks like. And I don't know what's coming. And I don't know what I'm going to do 5 years from now. I don't have all the answers, but I just need to go, and I need to figure it out. And at the time, like, I had doubts and I wasn't sure if it was the right decision and whatnot, but I'm here now, and I just feel like, you know what, like, I made the decision, and now you just gotta like live with that, right? And things will come up, and you'll meet new people and start new beginnings, and you gotta enjoy those.
So much for being on today. Yes, Haley's got a peace out. And hey, just after this episode comes out, it is 2 days till Christmas. So wishing you guys Merry Christmas. And so I'm so glad that we got to connect. Before you share the show, leave us a rating or review. And in the meantime, be free, feel fresh, and live on